welcome back to Whiteboard Learning Platform. My name is Anuradha Tripathi. Today's session is with respect to the daily current affairs series by the Whiteboard Learning Platform. And in the daily current affairs series, we will deal with every aspect of the current affairs, right away from the national affairs, international affairs, economy, agriculture, tribe in news, species in news, and the sports related current affairs. So for the 5th of October, we will be dealing the national affairs for the Ecomark rule 2024. From the reports and index section, we will going to discuss about the national health account report which is released. Then the next topic will be the travel and the tourism development index. From economy section, we will be dealing the national agriculture code which the Bureau of Indian Standard is formulating. Then the next important current affairs is related to the Forex Reserve of India, because India has become the 4th country in the world to have the Forex Reserve worth rupees $700 billion. So that's how it is in news. We will discuss in detail. One of the important tribe that is in news is the Chenchu tribe. Then the next will be the last section, the sports, which is about the ISSF Junior World Championship. So without a further delay, we'll start the discussion. First is the Ecomark rule. So this Ecomark rule 2024 have been released under Lifestyle for Environment initiative. So this life initiative was launched by India or propagated by India during the Glasgow COP with respect to the United Nations framework for the climate change. So in order to protect the climate change because of the global warming, so one approach which India have highlighted that there is a need of the lifestyle for the environment, means a sustainable lifestyle practice should be promoted, whereby the mindless consumption should be prohibited. So under this particular initiative or the mission, the government of India have released the Ecomark rule 2024, and this rule is going to replace 1991 Ecomark scheme. Here the objective is basically this Ecomark will be given to the product who basically adhere to the certain environmental criteria. So the product, if they are adhering to the specific environmental criteria and if they ensure the minimal environmental impact in terms of its degradation, then the Bureau of Indian Standard will issue the Ecomark. Here, in exam, the question can be asked like which is the nodal agency as far as issuing of the Ecomark is concerned. So here the answer will be the BIS. So this Ecomark is going to promote the sustainable consumption and eco-friendly production. And these are the two, basically we can say, the foundation for the life initiative which the government of India or the India is promoting in order to protect the environment. So here we should know what is the practice or the approach that how a product can get this Ecomark. So here the application process, for example, if any product is seeking to have this Ecomark, so that application, that manufacturer must apply for the Ecomark through the Central Pollution Control Board. So the application is going to be submitted to the Central Pollution Control Board. After accessing the certain criteria that whether the product adheres to the specific environmental regulation, then the BIS is going to be issued. Here, one more thing we need to understand, that what is the duration of the Ecomark, which is the 3 years. So if any product is given the Ecomark, that will be valid for 3 years. That also you should remember. If we talk about the implementation and who is going to supervise this overall Ecomark scheme or the Ecomark rule, so here there is a particularly steering committee that is going to be headed by the Environment Secretary from the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, who will basically oversee an implementation of this Ecomark 2024. So here you should not confuse that who is issuing authority, who is the authority as far as the processing of application is concerned, and which is the nodal agency as far as the overall supervision is concerned. So in all these three aspects, the authority is different, issued by BIS, application process to Central Pollution Control Board, and the steering committee is going to see the oversee or the implementation of this Ecomark rule 2024. Another important aspect, you should remember the validity of this Ecomark which is assigned to any particularly product. If you talk about the significance, that what is the contribution of this Ecomark rule, so basically the consumer will have the informed decision making process as far as the consumption is concerned. So basically the greenwashing by the companies whereby they are promoting the product in the name of the organic, their products are environment friendly. So this greenwashing is going to be discouraged with the help of this Ecomark, and the consumer will also have a informed purchase. And moreover, it will also encourage the manufacturer to produce the product which are environment friendly, means it will discourage the environment or green washing. So as I already discussed, that this misleading environmental claims in the form of greenwashing will be reduced, and it will promote a circular economy. So the economic development and the growth will be basically a sustainable, which will take the environment into the consideration. So this is about the Ecomark rule. Now the next is about the national health account. So this national health account estimate for the year 2020 and 21, and 2021 and 2022 is released. So under this national account, various aspect or the data related to health expenditure released. So this year, for this 2020, 2021 and 2021, 2022, this is the 7th and 8th edition of the National Health Account. So Ministry of Health and Family Welfare have released this. So here you should know that it is released by which ministry. So the answer will be the Ministry of Health and the Family Welfare for this 2 fiscal year, which is the 7th and 8th edition of this National Health Account. If you talk about the various aspects in this edition, so one aspect is related to the government health expenditure. So the government health expenditure in this year have been increased from the 2014-15 to 2021-2022, which is from the 1.13% to 1.84. Here you should not mug up this fact, but you should know the real journal trend of the government health expenditure, that it has increased from 2014-15 to 2021-2022. Another important aspect is the out of the pocket expenditure. Here the meaning of the out of pocket expenditure is that an individual will have the expenditure in order to have the access to the health facility. So this is basically about the burden over an individual as far as the expenditure is concerned. So this out of pocket expenditure have dropped, okay, from the 62.6% to the 39.4%. So here one thing also we can understand, we can correlate these 2 points. Because of the government health expenditure have increased, so therefore the out of the pocket expenditure of individual have decreased. Okay. Now the next is the government share in the total health expenditure. Means the total health expenditure is the expenditure incurred by the government, also the private sector, insurance and individual. So in the total health expenditure in the India, the share of the government have increased, which is from the 29% to the 48%. Okay. Now the next is the social security expenditure. Social security expenditure is also increased from the 5.7% to 8.7%. Now the next is related to the current health expenditure. In this current health expenditure, it is approximate 12.33% for the central government, and the state government is 20.94%. So these are the certain facts or the certain data that has been released in the National Health Account. Now we'll see what is this National Health Account. So basically this National Health Accounts gives a detailed account about the health expenditure in the country. So the detailed expenditure about in the context of health, if it gives a basically a informed decision making for the government in order to have the better policy as far as the health social sector is concerned. So India's national health account, which is a estimate, are in a structured format. Okay, and India's national health account is based on the global health account. So that you should also know that India's health account is based on the system of health account. This system of health account is on the same line which is given by the World Health Organization in 2011. So this world practice of having the health account which India have adopted from system of health account which is formulated by the World Health Organization. Okay, so what is the purpose of this national health account? So that India can do the cross country comparison as far as the health expenditure in India is concerned. So to enable the inter-country comparison, another important aspect that you should know, that it provides a standardized way to track and monitor the health expenditure in the country. So as we have already discussed, that will help or enable the government to have an informed policy decision making. So next important aspect is that you should know that when for the first edition was released. So the first edition of India's national health account was released on the base in the 2001 and 2. And this year in 2024, that is the 7th and the 8th edition for 2020, 2021 and 2021-2022 financial year respectively. So these are the important aspects. Now the next important news is with respect to the Travel and the Tourism Development Index 2024. So here, if you come across any index, then what are the important aspects that you should look around in order to mark the right answer in any competitive exam? As far as the index is concerned, you should know that releasing organization. Okay, then you should know the number of edition, whether it is a first, second or third, and so on. What is the ranking of India, and how in any top 3 countries or any top 4 countries as far as the index is concerned, and what are the points as far as the India's ranking is concerned in terms of the progress. So that's how we are going to deal with the Travel and the Tourism Development Index. Okay, so in 2024, this index which is released is the second edition. So this is for the second time it has been released by, okay, so it is published by the World Economic Forum along with the University of Surrey, which is based in UK. So it is not completely or individually published by the World Economic Forum, but along with the University of Surrey, which is based in UK. So this is the second edition. So the first edition was published in 2021. So second edition 2024, first edition 2021. If we talk about the rank of India, so in the second edition, the rank of India is 39th. Okay, and that 39th rank is out of 190 countries. India position is on the 39th. But when for the first time this index was released, so India's position was 54. So we have improved the position from the 54th to 39. This is very, very important. You should know. Okay, if you talk about the top 3 countries in the world, then the top position is occupied by the United States, second is Spain, and the third is Japan. So the top 3 countries, US, Spain and Japan. If you talk about the top 3 countries in Asia, then it is Japan, China and the Singapore. So in the world ranking, Japan is on the 3rd position, but when it comes to Asia's ranking, then it is the Japan which is holding the 1st position. Here, another important aspect is, if India have improved its position from the 54th to 39, then what are the areas which India have improved as far as the tourism has concerned? So India's score have improved in the 3 areas. This is very, very important, that the question might come like in the second edition of the Travel and the Tourism Development Index, in how many areas have India have improved? So the answer will be 3 areas, and these 3 areas are related to the that the prioritization of the travel and the tourism. Okay, so one is the with respect to the priority, second is about the safety and security. Okay, and the third is the health and hygiene. So in these three area, the India by the having the right policy intervention, the tourism and the travel have improved, which leads to the improvement in the India's ranking. If you talk about the certain specific aspect as far as the tourism is concerned, so India's position in the price competitiveness is 18th. In transport infrastructure, it is 26th for air transport and 25th for ground and port. Here the ground will include both the road and the railways. Now the next is in terms of resource ranking. So the sixth is the natural resource, ninth is the cultural resources, and the ninth again in the non-leisure resources. So this is about the resources. Here the meaning is basically the natural resources, for example, river, hilly areas. So in that particular aspect, the resource ranking is allotted. So sixth is for natural, ninth is for cultural resources, and the ninth again in the non-leisure resources. So this is about the Travel and the Tourism Index 2024 ranking, which is second. Now, the next important news is related to the National Agriculture Code. So, this is the article which is published in the Indian Express newspaper on the 5th of October. So, here we will understand this National Agriculture Code, which the Bureau of Indian Standard is formulated the strategy that India, this is the right time that when India should have this National Agriculture Code. We have the various code as far as the housing is concerned, the building is concerned. So on the same line, the agriculture sector should also have the code. So here, first we will understand what is the need of this code. So as far as the agriculture is concerned, there is no existing standard. Here the meaning of the standard is basically what is the right amount of the irrigation is needed for any particular crop, what is the right amount of the fertilizers. Okay, because the irrigation and the fertilizer which is used in the agriculture is having the various adverse implication in terms of the over exploitation of the resources. Okay, in terms of the over usage of the fertilizers, which is creating the another environmental challenges. So by having the standardized code in the agriculture, all these aspect of overuse or misuse or over exploitation of the resources can be dealt. So that is why there is a need of the National Agriculture Code. So here the objective is to set the standard across the agriculture cycle related to the crop field preparation, crop selection, irrigation, harvesting, storage, emerging areas like natural and the organic farming. So here the coverage of this National Agriculture Code will not only deal with the standard across the agriculture cycle, but a complete agriculture chain right away from the selection of the crops to the harvesting and the method of the agriculture practice. So that is if you talk about the implementation of this National Agriculture Code. So Bureau of Indian Standard is creating the framework with the help of the working panel for the 12 to 14 specific area with the involvement of the universities, professors and the research and development organization, that how a standardized approach can be developed. So as far as if you talk about the structure, this National Agriculture Code will have the two structure. One is the part 1. Here the part 1 means it will be a common for agriculture as a economic activity, irrespective of the crop, irrespective of the region where the crop will be grown. So that will be the common standard. So it will be the general principle that will be applicable for all the crops. If you talk about the part 2, that will be very selective in nature. That will depend upon the region where a particular crop is growing, because every crop have the different need of water requirement. Okay, every crop have the different need of the fertilizer application. For example, as far as the sugarcane is concerned, so being a water intensive crop, so the requirement of the irrigation is very high. So in order to deal with all these aspects, so the part 2 will be the crop specific standard. For example, for the major crops like paddy, wheat, oilseed and the pulses. So this NAC, this National Agriculture Code, will be having the journal aspect also and the some crop specific issues. So here what will be done? There will be the standardization for the use of the inputs like chemical fertilizer, pesticide, crop storage. It will also address some of the new area as far as the agriculture is concerned: natural agriculture, organic farming, use of the technology, for example artificial intelligence, for the prediction of the weather, that what is the right time for the sowing of a crop or harvesting of the crop. Okay, and moreover the use of the technology in the application of the fertilizers also. For example, the usage of drone in the fertilizers. So all these areas will be dealt under the National Agriculture Code. Now, the next important news is with respect to the Forex Reserve of India. So that is published on All India Radio, that India have become the fourth nation in the world to cross the 700 billion US dollar in the Forex Reserve. So here in the exam, what question can be asked is, presently what is the ranking of India as far as the Forex Reserve of India is concerned? So that is the fourth. So here you should know what are the other three countries. So the first place is held by the China, followed by the Japan, and the third is Switzerland. Now fourth is at India. So that ranking is based on particular amount, which is the 700 billion dollar. Okay. Here from the news, we should also know that what is the Forex Reserve. Means if you talk about India's Forex Reserve, so what exactly include? So in India's Forex Reserve, there are the four component. We will discuss this four component in the decreasing order, which means out of the 700 billions, what is the major component, then the second, then the third, and the last one. So the first component is the foreign currency asset. Here, the meaning of the foreign currency asset means India foreign exchange reserve will have the US dollar, Japanese yen, Chinese renminbi, pound sterling of UK, or euro from the European Union. So here the foreign currency asset will be the currency of the different country right away from the dollar to pound sterling, yen, Chinese renminbi, and other important currency. The second important component is the gold. Third is SDR. SDR is a special drawing right which is issued by the IMF. It is neither a claim nor a currency of IMF, but it has been released by the IMF in order to deal with the balance of payment crisis, or that the country should not have the over dependency on the currency of other country which is used in the trade in the world. And the fourth important aspect of India's foreign exchange reserve is a reserve trench position with IMF. Okay, so here the reserve trench position is basically all the country have a significant quota within the IMF that is assigned to a country depending upon their size of economy. So the quota will decide that what exact amount of the currency that a country needs to give to the IMF. So that amount of which is based on the quota which a country have given to the IMF, that amount can be accessed by the country in the event of the need. Okay, so this accessibility of this amount from their reserve quota is something which is not coming from the IMF with the obligation in terms of the interest that needs to be paid. So that's how the amount which any country have submitted to IMF based on their quota is included in the part of their forex reserve, because they can access to this quota amount at any point of the time whenever they are in a need without paying any interest to the IMF. So that's how the India's forex reserve is consisting of this 4 point. So this $700 billion which this news is mentioning is exactly in this four aspect: foreign currency asset, gold, SDR, and reserve trench position with the IMF. Now, the next news is with respect to the tribes in news. So, the tribe which is published in the newspaper The Hindu is the Chenchu tribe. So, here the context of this news is basically because this Chenchu tribe are the PVTGs. So, they are facing the problem of to intermingle with the modernized world. So they are not being able to equip them with the required skill, and therefore they have ended up dependency on the opportunities under the Manji scheme. So here we will deal with the what is the Chenchu tribe, what is the meaning of PVTGs, where they are located, what are the social practice and other aspect. So if you talk about the location of this particular tribe and their language, so they are speaking the Chenchu language, which is a Dravidian language, which belongs to the Dravidian language family, and these tribes are residing in particularly the majority of them in the Nalamala forest of the Andhra Pradesh, and in the small number these tribes are also found in the Tamil Nadu and Orissa state. So this is about the location and the language that you should know. If you talk about their livelihood, because of which this is in news, so basically their livelihood is based on the forest based economy, means minor forest produce they will be collecting from the forest area, and apart from this they are also doing the practice of hunting. So their livelihood is forest based economy. They are basically the food gatherers from the forest and practicing the hunting as well. If you talk about the nature of the tribe, so this is the PVTGs. PVTGs means particularly vulnerable tribal group. Here the tribal community as a whole, they are the marginalized section of the society which is not the part of the mainstream society, and within this tribal community there is a one another section which is termed as the PVTGs, which is a far more, they are basically, as far as the development is concerned, so they are far more based on the subsistence aspect. For example, their population is declining, the literacy rate is very low, they are doing a subsistence agriculture practice just for the sake of their survival. So these are the basic characteristics which is the criteria used to classify any tribe as a PVTGs. If you talk about the number of PVTGs in India, there are the 75 PVTGs which is spread across 18 state and 1 UT. This 1 UT is in Andaman and Nicobar. If you talk about the state with the largest number of PVTGs, then it is Odisha. So out of these 75, Chenchu is one among those tribes which is termed as the PVTGs. So this is the meaning of PVTGs. Now the next is, what is the village structure as far as this tribe is concerned. So here the Chenchu village, which is termed as the Penta. This is important. So you should know what is the meaning of Penta in the context of Chenchu tribe. So this is the village structure whereby which is consisting of the few huts. So they are living in the few huts which is closely spaced, and this closely spaced huts belongs to based on the kinship. And as far as the authority is concerned within this particular kinship, then there is a Pedda Manshi, which means a village elder who have the authority and the authority in order to maintain the social harmony within this particular tribe. If you talk about the religious practice, so basically they worship various deities from the Hinduism, specifically Bhagwan Taru. Here the meaning of the Taru is a sky god. So this is about their religious practice. As far as the marriage is concerned, so marriage in this tribe is termed as the Pelli, which is arranged by the elder of the family or the chosen by the youth. So these are the certain aspects which you should know, the characteristics, the location, what is their language, what is their religious practice, and their social village structure. Now the last news is from the sports section, which is about the International Shooting Sports Federation. International Shooting Sports Federation of Junior World Championship. So for the shooting sports, this Junior World Championship is organized in the Peru. Okay, so as far as this championship is concerned, so under team competition, so the trio which we can see from the image, this trio have won under this team competition a gold medal. So here how the question will be asked is with respect to the nature of the competition. So it is a team competition. What is the medal they have won? So this is about the gold medal they have won. If you talk about the category of the sports, so this is the men 25-meter rapid fire pistol. This is also you should remember. and another is in the trio the personality. So one is Mukesh Nelavelli, which is, then second is Raja Vardhan Patil, and the third one is Harsimar Singh Ratha. So this trio have won the gold medal at Junior World Championship of International Shooting Sports Federation organized at Peru in men's 25-meter rapid fire. So this is all about the 5th October 2024 current affairs session. If you are liking all these aspects, so please do like, comment and share. Thank you so much.